There we go. What's going on, guys? Thank you so much for joining me right here on the channel. This is your AEW post-show review for November 14th, 2021. Thank you guys so much for telling me that I was muted. I'm your host, Phil, and this is Outside the Brand. This show was phenomenal. I loved every single second of it. As I was trying to say in the intro, I was over at a friend's house last night for the show, and everybody in that family loves professional wrestling. So when Hangman Adam Page won the world title, everybody, and I mean everybody in that household, was jumping for joy. But I'm telling you right now, when I was over at that friend's house and I was coming home from the night, I was legitimately drained. I was legitimately drained. And yes, I am running solo tonight. I don't know where the heck anybody is. I told everybody about it. I sent them the link. They're just not here. So I guess I'm going to be running solo. But yeah, so I was just absolutely drained when I got home. I passed the fuck out. And I told you guys right from the very beginning, for this build and how everything was going to pan out, that this show was going to be better than All Out in September. And I completely stand by that statement. This show was better than All Out. This show was better than All Out, 100%. And people were laughing at me, and even guys in OTB were saying, "Hey, let's not go that far. Let's pump the brakes on there a little bit." But I told you right from the beginning that this show was going to be better than All Out, and it was. We had people like Adam Cole, CM Punk, and Bryan Danielson. They were all on the show in a wrestling capacity. Hangman Adam Page and Omega was the main event, and that match was way better than Omega taking on Christian Cage at All Out. This show was better than main event, better than All Out, easily. And I don't mean any disrespect towards Christian when I say that, because I think he's absolutely amazing. But Hangman Adam Page versus Adam Cole was just a way better main event. It was just a way better main event. There's this thing that I keep hearing when it comes to professional wrestling, and it's quality over quantity. Guys, there was a lot that happened on the show tonight. I mean, not tonight, last night. There was a lot that happened on the show last night. And man, everything was going and going and going and going. This show had so much in it that there was one match after another, and you just simply could not, you simply couldn't breathe. We had quantity for this show instead of quantity in this show, but the quality of the matches that happened on the show was insanely tremendous. And the thing is, I was okay with that. They gave us both. AEW and Tony Khan gave us both quality and quantity, and I'm okay with that. But normally, when it comes to my professional wrestling, I want the quality of the matches to be good. I don't care how many matches are on the show. The pacing seemed a little bit off to me, though, I feel. As the show, even though it was amazing, and I'm not really too one to complain here for AEW, but the show, let's take it back a little bit. I loved every single bit of the show, but there's some pacing, and you really just could not take a break during any part of the show. I literally could not find a match where I can just get up and go. I'll say it on here. I couldn't use the bathroom during the entire show. I couldn't, because if I miss something, I miss something incredible. And if I miss something incredible, I'm just gonna miss out on something that I just can't that I just can't miss. So if I knew that I was just going to have to sit through 5 hours of professional wrestling and just 5 hours of just pure professional wrestling without even taking a break, I would have gotten all my stuff. I would have gotten a snack. I would have gotten a drink. I would have gotten everything taken care of before I sat down to watch 5 hours of professional wrestling. And man, we had a lot of matches for a long night, and man, all these matches were going on for a pretty long time. And the thing is, as sick as the matches were heading into the night and everything, we went right into the next one and just kept going and going and going. There was no filler to any of these. And the only filler that I saw that I would at least think would be filler was the announcement of Jay Lethal. And even that's not really a breather, because when that announcement happened, and we'll get to it, it just leads on to something in the Dynamite that's going to be happening on Wednesday. So there was no breathing time. I can appreciate that we had an amazing night of professional wrestling, but damn, this show, you couldn't take a break. You couldn't take a break during any of it. And I don't know. Let me know what you guys think about that in the comments, as that's just how I felt during the entire thing. But man, I want to go over every match that happened on the show tonight for Full Gear. As this, is the full show review. But I want to talk about this right now, as we all know that the main event of Full Gear was absolutely special. Absolutely 100% special, as Hangman Adam Page won the AEW World Championship last night, and what was a culmination of what is a year of long-term booking. And guys, what a moment it was. What an absolute moment it was. Clearly it was the right move, and clearly it was the right time to give Hangman Adam Page the championship. And now we move forward into his championship reign. Kenny Omega can go heel himself, because we all know he's been wrestling with some nagging injuries. And he can just go heel up. Hangman can be the champion, and Adam Cole can ultimately slide himself right on in as the new leader of the Elite. Going back to Kenny Omega for a bit, when he's gone and when he's just not on AEW TV, I'm telling you right now, I don't think anybody's gonna miss him. I don't think anybody's gonna miss him a single bit, because look at the talent that we got here on this roster. There is no shortage of people that I would like to see in a match with Hangman for the championship. He's not going to be missed. He's not going to be missed whatsoever, because this roster right now is absolutely stacked, and it's not going to be a big deal for when he leaves. The head nod that happened in that match is a huge thing. Not a lot of people are going to think that it's going to be a big thing. It was so subtle, but it meant so much, and it's going to lead into a lot of things that could possibly happen. Either they're on Hangman's side now and they forgive him for what happened, or they're just booting Kenny out of the Elite, and that's it. And they're just booting him out. Now, on the other side of this, I want to talk about Hangman Adam Page and his potential challenger, Bryan Danielson. As we all know, Hangman Adam Page won the championship, but Bryan Danielson is not too far behind, as he beat Miro last night to become the number one contender for the championship. And while that match is absolutely great, and I loved it, every single second of it, and we'll go through it, this had so much implications as to what's going to happen. But the match is to happen soon between Bryan Danielson and Hangman Adam Page, and it's gonna be another place where we can just see an amazing thing happen. So there's also that, but we also have somebody that is also clamoring for a spot at the top, and that is MJF. MJF, as we all know, kicked off Full Gear with Darby Allin, and that was a really fun match as well. And we'll talk about that in just a little bit. But there's really a few ways that Tony can go about this here, and I love that. I love that because we don't know what's going to happen, and I think that's the best thing that they could possibly do in this kind of situation. Now talking about Bryan, imagine whenever that match does eventually happen, we can see Bryan versus Page at some point, and imagine what that can do for Hangman's career if he beats not only Kenny Omega for the AEW World Championship when Kenny Omega was on the absolute peak of his AEW career, but think about what that could happen for Hangman's career when he pins Bryan Danielson. That'll not only solidify his reign, but it's only going to benefit him moving forward. So Bryan is bulletproof. That loss is going to be absolutely fine for him, but he's going to have to lose eventually because he is undefeated, and he's going to have his first loss. But it's not gonna mean anything. Well, it is gonna mean something. It's definitely gonna mean something for Hangman. But with how bulletproof Bryan is, he'll be fine. He'll be absolutely fine. But listen, guys, we will still talk about everything that happened on the Full Gear show that happened last night, as this is the Full Gear 2021 review. If you guys don't know already, well, I wrote all of this thinking that somebody was going to be here, so it's just me here. We're going to be talking about the show, and those are just some of the key points that I wanted to talk to everybody about because those are some major aspects that can happen and that we have to look into heading into the next few months and weeks here in AEW. Thank you guys so much for joining us right here on Outside the Brand. It's November 14th, 2021. As we all know, the show happened last night, but I want to get the like goal to something astronomical and something that we haven't really done here yet. And that is to get it to 15 likes. 15 likes is the goal here, and if we can get that by the end of the stream, that would be greatly appreciated. If you missed anything on the channel over the past few weeks, you can go check out anything that you may have missed on the homepage of the channel. We got our Monday Night Raw review, our NXT review, and AEW review from last week, all on the channel. We also have our AEW preview and predictions, which was our last episode, so go check that out if you may have missed that. You can follow all of us on social media. Everybody's links is down in the description anyway. So go follow them if you haven't already. Also go follow me there as well. All the links, like I said, are down in the description. If you want to take a look, listen to the MFN Right remix by Loft and Bash, go do that. That link is also down in the description as well. And you can continue supporting the channel in any way that you possibly can by hitting that subscribe button, hitting that like button. You guys already know the goals, so let's try to get it there. And turn on that bell for all notifications. That way you never miss an upload. And guys, I think it's time. I think it's time to talk about the entire show and see what the heck is going to happen heading into the next few months here on AEW TV. As guys, we're going to be talking about the first match that happened on the show, and I want to thank you guys so much for being here tonight. Darby Allin and MJF. This was 22 minutes of an absolute banger. I loved every single second of this match. This match was absolutely amazing. These two men ultimately proved to me, and I hope to everybody else, that you can put one of these two guys, or if not both, you can put any of them in a feud, and they're just going to kill it every single time. MJF especially proved to me last night, that he is the next guy in this company. After Bryan Danielson gets his shot at the AEW World Championship, it's going to be MJF. It's going to be MJF. Oh my God, Loff is here. Loff. Oh my God, you're here. Thank God.
I'm always here for you, Phil.
Thank God. Nobody was answering me, and I was like, what the hell is happening?
I'm always here.
So, you didn't miss much. I'm talking about the show, the first match right now.
Okay.
I'm talking about the first match right now. I kind of just got done with the intro and the pleasure tease and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
We're talking about the first match right now. Darby Allin and MJF. This was 22 minutes of just an absolute banger of a match. And well, if I'm telling you right now, these two guys proved to me, and I hope to everybody else here in AEW and pretty much the fan base, that you can put any of those guys in a feud or in a match, and they're going to kill it every single time.
Yeah, man. I didn't expect anything less from what we got from these two. I just really was expecting a one-sided match. Really, when the match first started, I was expecting MJF to like really just beat him down for the whole match, but it was much more evenly evenly worked than I expected. But this was one of my favorite matches of the whole night. I love Darby Allin, and MJF is going to be world champion sooner or later.
Yes.
It's coming.
You pretty much alluded to that, as well as I have here in my notes, that this guy not only proved to me about like just putting him in a match and he's going to ultimately kill it no matter what, but this guy especially proved to me, MJF especially, that he's going to be the next guy. He is. After Bryan gets his shot, because Bryan did beat Miro at Full Gear, that guy's going to be the next AEW World Champion.
Pretty
like,
much.
He has it. And the thing is, man, watching this match, and I want to get your thoughts on this, Loff. I even told you about this on the preview and prediction show. Not only are they amazing professional wrestlers, but I mean, I told you this last week. I mean, not last week, in the last episode. This is a feud that is going to be visited later on down the line. And this is going to be a feud that is going to continue to build into the years of AEW moving forward. The storytelling in this match is absolutely phenomenal. And I just want to have your thoughts on not only this feud as it continues to grow here in AEW, but just them as professional wrestlers, because I think they are fantastic with each other, and their styles worked so well with one another. I loved it all.
No, both of them are great. I was pleasantly surprised at how well um, these two work together, just off of everything that they've built leading up to this match. I really was brought into AEW by Darby Allin just because he was the first person that really caught my interest. So um, even though I hate seeing him lose so much, I feel like it's better storytelling for him to lose at this moment, because MJF is just on a different level at this point, and it would make no sense to slight him at the moment, because he's not. He looks like he's on a train straight to the top sooner or later. So, um, I feel like Darby's going to be okay. I think we talked about this in the last episode. Darby's going to be okay because he's great in his own sense. But this was great. I don't know how else to explain it. I was much I was much more entertained than I thought I would be with this match, just because I told you before, I don't like watching the AEW style that much if I'm not fully invested in the people that are in the ring.
Right.
And I'm very, very happy that these two, even though I like both of them, they still had my interest. They still, I never got bored at this point. It was just, I was excited throughout the whole match. This whole show, actually, this whole show really caught my
Yeah.
interest. With the exception of like one or two matches, maybe this whole show had my full interest. But this match was amazing.
Now, as you guys know, we usually go over the final spots of this match, but here's the thing. I'd go over it all, but it wouldn't do it justice. It really wouldn't. This entire thing was just 22 minutes of professional wrestling, trading holds and moves and going back and forth with pins and like the mix and everything. It was just, in the purest sense of the words, it was just professional wrestling. But to go over the final sequence, because we usually do that on these shows, just to break it down as we always do. MJF grabs Darby's skateboard, rolls it to Darby, and tells him to hit him with it. Hit me, MJF screams. Allin hands it to the referee, and the referee's back is turned. MJF hits Darby with the Dynamite Diamond Ring, and hits a headlock takeover and gets him for a 1-2-3. MJF said it in one of his promos heading into this match that he was going to beat him with a headlock takeover. He lived up to his freaking word that he won with a headlock takeover.
Mm-hmm.
That was freaking phenomenal. It was just an amazing match, and I told you guys, like I said during the preview predictions, that this feud is going to be a feud for AEW in the years to come. I'm telling you right now, Loft, this is an AEW World Championship match in the future.
Yeah.
I completely see that happening.
I would be surprised if it wasn't, really.
So, and I have here in my notes, there's a reason why these two people are two of the four pillars that are the future of this company, and that match is the reason why they are two of the four from last night. When MJF wins that world title, it's gonna be must-watch TV. I know I know you're not fully into AEW, but man, when MJF wins that championship, you at least have to witness that promo. You have to, because wherever he is, he's not gonna only rip the city to shreds, but man, he's gonna be like, "I told you so. I told everybody I told you so. I was gonna be this champion, and nobody fucking believed me." It's gonna be so fantastic.
I'll be there for that. I want to see that. I can't imagine the crowd would be happy to see that man with a belt. So,
man, Darby Allin and MJF fucking killed it. People were saying that this was a match of the year candidate, and I can't disagree because the match was so good.
It's up. It's got to be up there in my eyes. As far as I've seen so far, it's got to be up there.
Yeah. So, that was insane. So, heading on into the next match, the AEW World Tag Team Championships are on the line as two of the top tag teams on the planet right now face off as the Lucha Brothers take on FTR. I have to say, man, while the ending was a little bit strange, I like the match. Don't get me wrong, but the ending with the mask and how Penta pinned like the illegal man in the match, something's gonna happen. It was definitely something to take a look at, but I loved every single second of this match. This match was purely professional wrestling, and I loved it all. What were your thoughts heading into this, and How'd you like it overall?
This is one of those matches that I wasn't fully invested in, but I was still somewhat entertained. I was just immersed in the wrestling, but I didn't know what to take from this because I'm not really invested in the people that were in the match. So I was just watching it. Honestly, I was just trying to see what happened. The whole mask thing that threw me off. I was like, okay,
Yeah.
but I just went with it, you know.
Yeah, so I want to talk to you about one thing that caught my eye during this entire match, and you can chime in whenever you want, but the energy that both of these teams had heading into this match and just the absolute joyfulness that they had on their faces just wrestling each other was something that you can clearly see through the television. Um, they loved working together, and you could just tell right from the start. FTR wanted to professionally wrestle in WWE. They never could really get that. And this is exactly what they're doing here in AEW. They wanted to work with the Young Bucks. They wanted to work with the Lucha Brothers. They wanted to work with other tag teams like this to just wrestle and get the fans what they ultimately wanted to give them. And man, they're doing it here in AEW. The last storyline I remember in WWE, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, or at least that I remember, was them having their little feud with the Usos, where they were just literally doing practical jokes on each other. And now it's just not a good time for FTR, for the Usos, for anybody for that matter. I love this match, and their styles worked perfectly with each other. What were your thoughts on everything that happened here?
I mean, I don't even remember that whole Usos thing.
Yeah, that remember, like, they were, yeah, it was a bad time. Like, remember the itching powder or whatever that happened?
No, I'm
No,
trying. I'm drawing a blank right now.
that happened a few years ago, back when they were on Raw together and everything. So,
Okay.
but man, this was a great match. I loved it all. I think the energy that they had in this match and just the overall joyness that they had showed through the TV screen. FTR is killing it right now, and I love them for doing it.
I'm happy to have something to do in AEW because they weren't doing anything in WWE. So I'm always excited to see teams that are really, really good getting the opportunity they deserve, you know.
Exactly, agree. Phoenix with a roll up for a 2 count, and Phoenix hits another hook kick. Penta tags in, hits a fear factor, and Phoenix leaps off Penta and hits a crossbody double cover for a 2 count, which looked phenomenal. I love Pentagon and Phoenix. That spot was just absolutely awesome. FTR rolls out of the ring and puts on the Super Rana masks, and Cash gets in, gets a cover with his feet on the rope, but the referee sees it, and Penta and Phoenix hits the fear factor on Cash for the 1-2-3, and Cash wasn't even the legal man, so it was a very good tag team match. But at the end of the day, and I can't wait to see what happens for them next. And man, they just retained the titles. Like I said, they pinned the wrong man, but there you go. I think we're ultimately going to have another match between these two teams, which I don't think is really needed, but there you go. And yeah, so it was just a very, very weird ending. Even the crowd didn't seem like they enjoyed that ending pretty much anyway. So, what were your thoughts on that? Because I mean, you have to heard the crowd. The crowd wasn't even all that interested in that ending.
I'll be right back. I'll be right back.
Okay, yep, no problem. No problem. I'm pretty sure Laf is pretty much going to agree there that that ending was not ideal. But yeah, so they worked their asses off in that ring last night, and it was just an amazing matchup. So I couldn't be more happy for FTR and the Lucha Brothers for just kicking ass. So there you go. Absolutely loved it. And match number 3, the third match that happened on the card, was the AEW World Championship Eliminator Tournament Finals between Miro and Bryan Danielson. As we all know, Miro took the place of Jon Moxley because Moxley took it upon himself to check himself into rehab, and he'll be out for at least 90 days. That's what Tony Khan told us on Twitter, and now that's pretty much the time frame for Moxley's return, supposedly. Miro beat Orange Cassidy to get here to the finals, and it was just to crown a new number 1 contender for the world title. I was really into this match because this was the first time they ever faced off, period. And that to me just blew my mind when I heard that stat. And I immediately took attention to this match because of that very fact. This was the first time ever meeting one-on-one in a match, period. And these guys 2 years ago were in WWE, and they didn't do anything with each other. Now they're in AEW, absolutely killing it, having the best work of their careers right now, and they're competing for the next shot at the world title. It's a beautiful thing, and it goes to show that it's not only how amazing that these two talents are, but it goes to show you that how much trust Tony Khan has in these two athletes to go out there, have a match worthy enough to be a number 1 contender for the world title. Yes, Miro did get released back in 2020. So there you go. This was a phenomenal match. Bryan Danielson was the one to pick up the win. And yeah, it was so good. There were some times in this match where I was kind of just taken aback because I was like, wow, this is a really good match. And the fact that those two never faced off against each other in WWE, I'm like, what were they thinking? What were they thinking not putting these two against each other? That would have been a great match in WWE as well, but they just didn't have anything for it. And I'm going to talk about Miro for a second here. Miro is so unappreciated. He is so unappreciated. His in-ring skills, on the mic, what he does in that ring and on the microphone is absolutely special. And what he's done in the year and a half that he has been in AEW has been nothing short but amazing. This is easily the best work of his entire career, in my opinion. And Bryan is Bryan, so he's always going to be great. Miro is super unappreciated, and I picked Bryan to win this match. I did, but I would have loved it if Miro got the win last night. I would have loved it, mainly because Miro is just so he's a believable guy in order to beat Bryan. So if he beat Bryan last night, I would not have been mad. In fact, I almost kind of wanted it to happen. I mean, because let's be real, he would have been a believable guy to do it. So, but I trust Tony Khan and what he's got going on. He's giving us this for a reason, and I trust him. Bryan is not only there to wrestle, but he's also there to just help the company in any way that he possibly can. He's helping this young talent grow. And if Hangman Adam Page won tonight and Bryan, who won here, is just the next step in that growth for this company, I'm all for it. I'm really all for it. It's ultimately going to tear the house down anyway, so Hangman Adam Page versus Bryan Danielson, perfectly fine by me. This I loved every single second of it. I really did. I want to bring up Miro's wife, but I want to bring up Miro's wife when Love gets back.
Yep.
There he is. What's up, my man? I just finished telling the guys here in the chat that Miro and Bryan Danielson tore the house down. I loved it, but this match right here, even though a lot of people thought that this match was a little bit odd at some points. I feel like it was too. But what are your thoughts on just Miro as a whole? Because I feel like he's super unappreciated with the work that he's done in the ring so far in the year and a half that he's been here in AEW.
Oh, he's freaking awesome. I love making him be as dominant as like we expected him to be when he first got in WWE. Like this is the character that he should have had the whole time because he knows what he's doing as far as promos go. He's already an amazing wrestler, and he has the physique, he has the song, he has the entrance. Everything points to him being like this dominant warrior kind of wrestler, and he's doing a great job of it in AEW.
Could not agree with you more. And I want to talk to you about CJ, aka Lana. He's been mentioning her so much in these promos that he has, and we all know Lana's free. Lana's free to go. Like she can come into AEW whenever she wants because she does not have that 90-day no compete clause anymore. That expired months ago. Mm-hmm. I've been wanting CJ to come in because I think it'll only just improve Miro's character. And I always thought that whenever Rusev was with his wife, that was the best stuff that he had in his tenure for WWE. So I think CJ ultimately coming in here would be absolutely great for him because he's already at an unbeatable monster state. With her, I think that would just enhance it. Do you want to see CJ come in here, or do you just not want it to happen?
I mean, it can't hurt. It definitely can't hurt. I wouldn't be opposed to it. If he says his wife's name and mentions her being there about every time we hear him. Like,
well, he says his wife. He doesn't actually mention her by name, but he keeps mentioning his wife in promo. So I'm like, come on, Tony, what are you doing?
One of these days, she's gonna pop up. I don't know when, but one of these days she's bound to pop up. Because
a lot of people expected her to come in at All Out. A lot of people expected her to come here for Full Gear, possibly costing Bryan the shot, and it didn't happen. So I don't know. Like it might not happen. Who knows? Because we all know she's here. Like she has to be in the back there supporting him. So it's not like we don't know she's around AEW.
She's gonna show up eventually. I'm not sure when, but she definitely will show up eventually before too long, before too much time passes.
So Bryan has some kicks heading into the final portion of this match to the midsection to no effect, and Miro picks him up and climbs to the top rope. Danielson, with elbows to the back of the head, strikes back and forth on the top turnbuckle. Danielson hits a torpedo DDT off the top rope, and Danielson locks in a guillotine choke, and Miro just passes out. So that finish to me seemed a little bit off, but it looked okay. I just hope nobody was hurt because the DDT kind of looked a little bit weird.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a great match. Bryan Danielson's now the new number one contender. Excuse me, for the AEW World Championship, and we'll see where that goes down the line. I like that. We had the 6-man Falls Count Anywhere match next night, man, and it was Christian Cage taking on and Jurassic Express taking on the Superkliq, Adam Cole, and the Young Bucks. I have to say, at this point in the show, my man, I talked about the pacing early on in this match, early on in the show, and man, I was looking at the clock already. It was only 9:30, and I'm like, geez, we're only an hour and a half in, and we still got so much more to go. How long is this gonna happen for?
It didn't seem like they were throwing a lot of stuff at you to like just say, oh, there's a whole bunch of matches here. It was more just like everything was flowing the way it was supposed to. Like I rarely see that anywhere else. So we see that like a flash in a pan. Like last time I saw that in WWE was probably Crown Jewel, and then everything else was just like terribly sequenced, you know. But
Yeah.
this was a very well sequenced match, and at this point in the show, I wasn't even like tired or anything like that. I was more so waiting for the next the next hour of the show, you know. So I'm more than happy with the result, but
yeah,
everything else was perfect.
To me, like as soon as this match started to happen, then we just got to the pacing of, oh yeah, this match happened, and then we're just gonna get these guys out of the ring with no time to breathe, and then the next match is gonna happen, and then the same thing over here, and then the next match happens. I don't know if you felt that same way, but like as soon as the match ended, the next one happened to me, and I'm like, there was just no chance to breathe or try to figure out what the heck's gonna happen in the next part of the story. But it was a great match. I'm not gonna say anything too bad about the match. These two groups have been feuding for a bit now, and it's been awesome. But I don't know, man. It was a great match all around. I liked the spots that they had and everything. But man, this was a really really good match. Falls Count Anywhere always had the ability to be something great. But a lot of people were saying that this match was a little bit too long for their liking. What were your thoughts on the timing of this match?
I see where that comes from. I mean, I was more so just waiting for the ending, but I don't know if it went too long. I guess for me, I don't know.
Because as I'm getting the timings of these matches up right now, the matchup for this happened at 22 minutes and 35 seconds. This was a long match. This was longer than the Bryan and Miro match, which took a little over 20 minutes. A lot of the time happened within the first 4 matches of the show. 23 minutes for the six-man Falls Count Anywhere match. Wild. Absolutely wild. So it was a good match. It was a ton of fun. Jungle Boy got the win here, as he was the final one to put the nail in the coffin. He hit Matt Jackson with a concerto, and he covers him for the 1, 2, 3, and that's pretty much it. Good match overall, and I was very shocked at the outcome. I was shocked at the outcome, my man, because I did not pick Jungle Boy and the rest of his team to pick up the win here.
I was hoping for this. I told you I do not like every time the Young Bucks have success. So I was cool.
Now I want to talk about Jungle Boy and Jungle Boy specifically, my man. He's one of the 4 pillars that MJF mentioned in his promo a few weeks ago. This storyline for him to get an ultimate push at one point is happening. What do you think of Jungle Boy? Do you think he can hold it on his own to be in a singles run at some point? And where do you think he goes from here? If that does happen.
Hold on, I'll be right back. Hold on.
No problem. I think he can ultimately hold his own in a singles run. If that does ultimately happen. I think Jungle Boy is going to be a future world champion. I've said that multiple times. But man, it's going to be an absolutely beautiful thing to see for Jungle Boy to get a singles run. I think it could be absolutely fantastic if they book it right. Because they need to have some kind of underdog story for him with the way that he's being presented. So I think it could work. They just gotta book it right. Tag team title run and then singles. Yeah, that's what I'm pretty much hoping for too. I just think that when he does ultimately go single, I just think he can handle himself and he can ultimately get the job done when the right time is happening. So I think it can happen. I'll get lost side of that, and we'll see where his head's at with Jungle Boy in a singles run down the line.
I'm here.
Jungle Boy, my man. There is a lot of people wanting him to go on a singles run right now.
Really?
I think he can hold it on his own for a singles run, but I want to get your thoughts on that. Are you okay with him going on a singles run, or do you think that man just can't be in a singles run right now?
I think it's worth a shot. I mean, like, he already has everything needed to go on a singles run, so he just needs the opportunity. So I don't see anything wrong with it, honestly.
Because there's just been so many things that could be possibly happening with this. As we all know, Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy have not held tag team championship gold yet. There were some a few months ago. There were some teases out. Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus were going to be parting ways, and by parting ways, I mean Luchasaurus ultimately turning heel on Jungle Boy. That never came to fruition, and I thank God for that, because that would not have worked, in my opinion. But man, if Jungle Boy was able to get a singles push, I think it would be a great thing to see, but they just have to book it right. You can't just say, oh yeah, I'm just going to go on a singles run now and that's it. You got to book it right. So if it happens, great. If it doesn't, oh well. We'll see what happens down the line. Now a match that I just feel like is absolutely a match. I'm just going to say it. A match that just did not simply need to be here on this card. It was Pac and Cody taking on Malakai Black and Andrade. This did not need to be on the card last night.
I didn't see the point in this match at all.
It didn't need to be on the card. This could have easily have been saved for the Dynamite after Full Gear.
Mm-hmm.
I was looking forward to this match. I really was, but this just didn't need to be here. And man, laugh. Surprisingly enough, somehow I got this prediction right. I picked Cody and Pac to win this thing, and I'm like, bro, I did not expect that. With the
forget
way
about
things were
Kingston.
going down, how?
I totally forget about Kingston.
You picked the other team in Andrade and Malakai.
Ah, okay.
But somehow I predicted it right. But man, I have to say this right now. Even though they originally booked this as a fatal 4-way match, I'm kind of glad we got the tag team route. Mainly because I don't know who I would have put over. I really don't.
Hmm.
In a fatal 4-way with Cody Rhodes, Pac, Malakai Black, and Andrade, I would not know who to put over.
I'm putting Pac over, honestly.
Really? Okay. Any specific reason? Or just saying, hey,
I
he
just
should win.
feel like the other three have gotten a spotlight that he hasn't gotten really yet. So
Okay. That makes perfect sense actually.
that's really it.
Um I have to say right now, this like I said, the instead of the fatal 4-way, we got the tag team route, and I was kind of okay with it. But at the end of the day, these are just random alliances to just completely put it in simple terms. The only thing that binds Andrade and Malakai Black together is Zelina Vega. But of course, they can't say that because she's on the other side. And I'm telling you right now, Love, what does Pac and Cody legitimately have with each other in common?
I don't know.
Nothing.
Oh, okay.
Nothing. They legitimately have nothing to do with each other. So this is just a random pairing here too. We got this tag match, and I'm kind of okay with it because they kind of just fuse these two feuds together. But there was a story in this match that happened on both sides of the teams.
Mm-hmm.
And man, I don't want to say it because this is Bruce Pritchard's favorite word. Coexisting.
Yeah.
Who could coexist just enough
Hate that
to
word.
win this match?
I hate
And
that
trust
word,
me,
man.
if I'm shitting on it in WWE, I'm telling you right now, I'm going to shit on it in AEW too. This is so overdone.
Yeah.
This is so overdone. And this is exactly why I didn't want to hear on Full Gear. Exactly why. Why have this here in a coexisting storyline? No,
They always do it. They always
yeah.
do it and like say it's like riveting professional wrestling when it's not really. It's not really that riveting. It just makes me mad because we know they're not going to coexist. We know it's going to happen at the end of the match. So it's like, why?
All of them are great in the ring. We get that, but if but you just can't do a coexisting storyline because it gets so overdone, and there's just no. There are better ways to book a tag match. There are better ways to do it. So Cody, at this point, not only during his entrance but just during the entire match, is getting booed out of the building, as he usually does nowadays. But when he was in the ring with Black, and I want to get your thoughts on this, Love. When he was in the ring with Black, it just seemed to get louder and louder and louder as the match progressed. Did you feel that way? Really?
I really didn't notice.
Okay.
I'll take your word for it, but I did not even notice that.
Yeah, it got louder as soon as Malakai Black and Cody were in the match together. as we all know, these two have been going at it for a little bit now. I mean, Malakai just went straight for Cody as soon as he arrived here. And I'm telling you right now, man, with the reaction that Black and Cody had in this tag match, Malakai Black is officially a babyface now. And that's not supposed to be the case.
Wait, really?
That's not supposed to be the case at all.
Why?
Cody Rhodes is supposed to be the babyface in all of this. Yeah, he gets booed out of the building. And
Malakai,
yeah.
I don't know.
So they didn't switch roles yet because Cody is still trying to be a babyface. This was not the plan. It inadvertently turned Black babyface, and I think this was kind of just a wrong move here. And I want to ask you, my man, just to get this out in the open. I don't think. Do you remember a time when somebody in WWE was kind of having this kind of same reaction, where they were trying to push the man as a babyface, but the crowd just did not want to get behind him?
Oh man, it's happened so many times. I don't know.
2015. I'll give you the year.
2015. Roman, right?
Roman, exactly. He was getting booed out of the building every single time that he was pretty much existing as well, and he was trying. They were trying to push him as the biggest babyface of the company, and it just ultimately did not work. I ask you, man, how does AEW ultimately come back from this? What do you think is the right way to go, and where do you think Cody's head is at? Because he has to know that he gets booed like this every single time he's out there. So do you think he knows what to ultimately do, or is he just going to stay babyface forever? Like, what do you think they need to do in order to correct this?
I don't think you correct it. I think you wait until the peak of it and then you turn, because at this point, correcting it is maybe going to look like it's not authentic. I think you should let it run its course for the time being, and then see if anything pops, because it's just like, I know they hear the crowd. I know they hear the crowd.
Yeah.
I hope to God they're not ignoring it. I don't think they're ignoring it, but I think they're going to play the long game with this one, honestly.
So, one thing before I go over the sequence of the ending of the match here, I don't know if you saw this in the match, man, but Cody did another double underhook. And we all know, just being a WWE fan, we either know that's going to happen for two moves. Either a Tiger Driver 98, or the double underhook is more famous for the pedigree. So people are saying that if Cody does hit a pedigree at some point, that could ultimately just be Cody's heel turn right then and there, and Cody is a heel confirmed if he hits a pedigree. Do you think Cody Rhodes will ever hit a pedigree just to solidify a heel turn, or what do you think of this double underhook kind of storyline that he has right now?
It's think his obsession with Triple H is one of the weirdest things I've ever seen. I think he has a really weird obsession with Triple H.
Okay, and yeah.
To an extent, I understand it, because he kind of blames him for his misuse at times in WWE, but I can't remember if I saw this correctly, but when AEW first came out, I saw this video. It was like there was a throne on the ramp, and I think Cody got a hammer.
Yes, Cody hit a sledgehammer on it, and it exploded. Yes, that was towards Triple H.
Yeah, and I saw that. I was like, this guy does not like him. So I was like, now he's just gonna keep doing the little Triple H jabs. At this point, that probably I don't know if that means a heel run because I feel like more people would be like happy that he did that. You know, I think that would. I don't know.
It's a weird dynamic because he started doing it with Malakai Black and now he's doing it here in this tag match. So I don't know what's happening. The double underhook means something.
Yeah,
it has to.
He's doing it for a reason. What that reason
Yeah, he's not doing it just to say, "Oh yeah, I'm about to do a pedigree," and that's it. No, he's doing it for something. And we'll ultimately see what happens.
He's doing it for some reason.
We'll ultimately see what happens. So let's go over the final portion of the match here as Black tags in. Pac hits a combination of kicks, sending Black outside the ring. Pac dives onto the outside, and Black pushes Cody in the way. So there you go with that. Black with a German suplex to Pac cover, and Cody breaks it up for a 2 count. Cody and Black spill to the outside of the ring. Black hits a running boot, sending Cody into the crowd, and Pac with a cradle for a 2 count. Pac hits a reverse Rana, goes to the top rope, hits a Black Arrow, cover for the 1, 2, 3. So great match. After the match, though, man, I'm telling you right now, this attack made no sense to me. Cash Wheeler came out just to ultimately attack both Cody and Pac, and that was it. As soon as the attack happened, we went right into the next match. So there was no room to breathe. There was no room to say, all right, why the heck is Cash attacking both of them? What's his association with any of this? What's happening? There was nothing explaining this whatsoever.
Yeah, I think they do attacks a lot more than I've seen a lot of other wrestling companies do. They sometimes they overdo it with the attacks to me.
Yeah.
So every match, like at the end, someone comes out and gets mad, and another fight begins. But I don't know.
No, I completely agree with you. They do way too many attacks. Like this made no sense.
I didn't understand why he came out. Because I barely knew who he was, so I was like, okay.
It was just Cash Wheeler. Here he is.
Yeah.
There you go. Just attacking both of them.
Not sure why that occurred.
Man, so I want to get into the next match, and man, it involves 2 amazing women in this division, my man. The AEW Women's World Championship was on the line as Dr. Britt Baker, D.M.D, took on Conti. Initial thoughts on this match?
I wanted Britt to lose so bad, but
yes, I know. I know you did.
It was a very good match. I wanted Britt to lose, but it was very well done. I love that spot when freaking Conti did the I think it was a moonsault, if I'm not mistaken. Yep. She did it, but she completely like missed Britt. Britt like walked the other way.
Yeah. That it looked a little bit strange, but I loved it.
It panned to the camera and Britt was just like looking at it. I was like, when did she get over there? I was like, okay.
Right.
I like the spot though. It was cool. This match was really good.
So I want to go over the entrances because the entrances were freaking awesome. Well, if they had the lead guitarist of Fozzy, Rich Ward, play a guitar rendition of Britt's music, it sounded awesome.
Like, who's this guitar guy? I thought it was Rick Booty.
Yeah, it was the lead guitar. It was the lead guitarist for Chris Jericho's group, Fozzy.
Oh, okay, that's cool.
And I have to say, the rendition of Britt's music on the guitar sounded awesome. I loved it. Maybe that's just my obsession with Britt, but I loved it.
Nah, it was cool for her. I liked it. I didn't know what was going on. Once I figured it out, I was like, "Oh, all right, I can do this." You know, wasn't bad.
And Conti, she went absolutely beautiful, absolutely wonderful and beautiful last night. with her being Brazilian, she wanted to call attention to her heritage, and she was wearing like the flag and everything. They had like a little Brazilian mixed with American kind of thing for her Titantron.
Yeah.
And I love that they do that. I love that they call attention to that because, hey, this match was the biggest match of her career. And they treated it as such.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you right now, this was the best match of her entire career, period. She was fantastic tonight. Well, last night.
For real.
And trust me, I don't think anybody really had a doubt that I mean, you said you wanted Britt Baker to lose here tonight, but I think in the back of your head you knew that Britt Baker was ultimately going to win and retain the title here. I don't think really anybody had Tay officially winning this match, but there are some pretty damn good near falls to pretty much really make you think that, oh my god, could she possibly do it? The near falls in this match are just phenomenal alone.
She had it for a minute, and you're right. I definitely knew that Britt was probably going to win the match, but I was trying to keep that hope in my brain that just maybe, I might get happy. But either way, I mean, it was very well done. It wasn't like one sided. Now that's what I was really hoping for. It wasn't one sided at all. So I can definitely appreciate that.
Right. I wanted to, now I want to get your thoughts on this. One thing I love about seeing in a professional wrestler is the growth that they have heading into just the growth that they have during their entire career. Now I admit both of these women, Tay Conti and Britt Baker, were rough around the edges when they first started here in AEW. But Tay's journey here to AEW and the progress that she has seen throughout her entire run here has been astronomical. Her promo skills are improving, her in-ring skills are on point, and just the growth of her, you can just see it. And that's one of the things I love most about this business, just the growth of how a professional wrestler that can come from nothing can be an absolute star in months to come. I think it's a beautiful thing.
I wish I saw more of what Britt was doing when she first got there to like really go off of like just improvement, but I'll take her word for it because she's definitely doing her thing now.
And what are your thoughts on Tay? I mean, Tay's growth
always
has
been cool
been great as well.
She was cool as soon as
Oh,
I saw
really?
her. So I've never been disappointed with the little bit of performances that I did see from her. I've never been disappointed. So that was already a given for me.
Awesome. To go over the final portion of this match with you, Baker misses another stomp. Conti hits a pump kick. Conti then she collapsed in the ring. So both of them were down at this point. Conti recovers and climbs to the top rope, moonsault to the outside to all three women, but Baker escapes. So that's the spot that you were calling for. Conti drops Baker with a spinning slam on the outside, and Conti hits a DDT cover for a 2 count. Conti with kicks to Baker, and Baker with a roll through into the lockjaw, and Conti counters into a cover. Baker counters into another cover for the 1, 2, 3. So they were kind of trading covers. I think that was a great way to do it. The spots were great. The near falls were great. They really made you think that Conti could possibly be the one to do it, but in the end, the daughter retains the title on her way to Revolution in February. So I think it was the right call. But man, Tay looked like a star tonight or last night. I keep thinking it's tonight. I don't know why. we do these reviews usually after the show, so.
I feel that.
But man, it was just a great match, and I already kind of alluded to this earlier, Loft, but I want to give a huge shout out to Britt Baker as well. Britt's phenomenal. You guys know how much I love Britt Baker. I don't think you guys I mean, you guys know how much I like Britt Baker. She's grown on me so much in this company, but she had the exact same progression as Kay. She did. She went through the exact same progression system. Britt Baker, she was the first woman to ever sign with AEW. I don't know off if you ever knew that, but she was the first ever woman to sign here. She was really rough around the edges. She needed some real good time in the ring. She needed help, but then when she got that help, she started working with Thunder Rosa, and now at this stage of her career with the championship, she's on such a good run with the title that she is not only bringing herself to great matches, but she has helped bringing others to the best match possible as well. Britt made sure that Tay Conti not only looked like a star tonight, but she got over. And she left a better wrestler than she did coming into this match, and that is Tay Conti. So I love everything about it. I think Britt's great. What are your thoughts on I know you said that you wish you just saw Baker in the infancy days of her run here in AEW, but just from what you saw from her so far, Britt Baker is on an absolute roll right now, and it's a great thing to see.
I want her to have a match with someone from I forget her name. Chelsea Green.
Okay.
I want her to have a match with Chelsea Green. I don't know why. I just think that it would be really, really freaking good. I want her to test her abilities against wrestlers that are outside of AEW.
Okay.
That's why
Yep.
I'm really hoping for like a. This probably won't happen, but like a inter-company feud thing. Like I would love to have her in a match against like Charlotte or Sasha Banks or something like that, just to watch. Like I think it'll be really, really, really well done. You know.
Think of her. I know the Impact partnership was over, but imagine her in a match with a Deonna Purrazzo or a Mickey James.
Mickey James would be awesome.
Yeah, like man, like I think Britt Baker made Tay Conti look like an absolute star that night. I don't think there's really anything to dispute about that. I think Tay Conti went into this match an absolutely amazing professional wrestler, but she left that match better than she stepped into it. And man, I just loved what they did in this match. They killed it, and this proves that Tay Conti can be used more in the future. She needs to be used more. Everybody loves her. So continue to use her in any way that you can. You can use her for the TBS title. I think she'd be a great TBS champion. Come on now. So the point is, I really do think that she can be used moving forward in prominent roles, and nobody's going to even bat an eye. Laf, a match that you were looking forward to intently happened next. And it was just a pure fight. Eddie Kingston, CM Punk.
This was so cool. This was so cool. This was everything I wanted and like 10 times more. Except CM Punk winning. I wasn't down with that. But everything else was cool.
Okay. I too loved every single second of it. And guys, I want to let you know that this match was not long at all. Well, this match only went 11 minutes.
Really? It felt longer.
It went 11 minutes. That's it. But with the way the story was, and with the way that they were doing this in only a 2-week build, I think it had to only go 11 minutes. I don't think you can do this in like a 20-minute banger. This is just a pure fight. And it started off with just an altercation backstage, which led to a promo on Rampage, which is absolutely phenomenal, which got the entire wrestling world on fire. And then we had a backstage parking lot brawl. So that's pretty much your 2 weeks right there. This wasn't supposed to be a 20-minute classic, like I said. This, to me, was just, let's go in there. Let's go in there and just kick each other's ass. And that's exactly what they did.
It's all it had to be. It's all it had to be, and it definitely delivered on every aspect of that. As soon as the match started.
Yeah, and the thing is, Love, I don't know if you can recall what happened before the bell, because
yes,
somebody was calling me in the kitchen, so I had to go there for a second. I missed what happened before the bell. Did he hit a spinning back fist, and by he I mean Eddie Kingston to Punk?
It came out of nowhere. He just flipped Punk. It was crazy.
Yeah, so he just does a spinning backhand to Punk. He gets knocked down, and Punk, from what I'm hearing, Punk was just laughing it off and flipping him the bird. So
pretty much
he just did not even care. He's like, all right, motherfucker, all right, you want to play it that way? We'll play it that way. And it just got heated from there. Now, Lop, I want to get your thoughts on this. These two guys are super passionate about what they do. They are great storytellers in the ring, and you can just tell that by not only their in-ring work, but their promo skills alone. They love telling stories. This was not a time to have fun. This was not a time to have fun. We all know how CM Punk does the crowd surfing thing. He jumps off the ramp into the crowd and just has a bit of fun. There was no time for that. No time for that at all. This was just a time to fight. You get in there, you get into that ring, and you just fight. And like you said, man, that's all it had to be. Man.
It was very that was very good storytelling in the match too. That was
yes.
It would have been so much better if Eddie won, because the crowd was booing Punk for like a minute.
Yes, and I do want to bring that up, because man, they were booing him. Jesus, dude, they killed it. The thing is, though, they were booing Punk majority of this match, and during the ending portion of it, Punk did the little handshake thing. He wanted a handshake from Eddie Kingston. As we all know, Eddie Kingston wasn't gonna shake CM Punk's hand. You kidding me? So he shoves it off, and that's it. I'm telling you right now, Loft, this is not over.
I hope not.
This is not over by a long shot. You can't end it like this. I think the storyline continues. I think we're finally going to have something build between these two that is ultimately going to get them. I can see him in a cage. I can see him, like, something's happening at the next pay-per-view between these two. And none of these guys are going to be allowed to step outside the ring or something like that. I can see a possible steel cage match at Revolution between these two.
That would be cool.
Like, how do I say this? I think this right here is a storyline. You know how I was telling you that at some point CM Punk needs to build a character?
Yeah.
This is a storyline that I feel is finally going to be a character building kind of storyline for CM Punk.
It took long enough. I'm happy it's finally here.
Yeah, because at this point, like I said earlier, he was just here to wrestle. He was just saying, hey, I want to work with you. Hey, I want to work with you. I like you. I want to work with you. But right now, I want to see them trying to figure out where the heck does CM Punk fit in all of this. I want to see where he fits in the grand scheme of things when it comes here in AEW. And I think this is the perfect way to do it. You have him in this match with Eddie Kingston. You have him pretty much built in a feud where Eddie Kingston said it himself. Nobody's going to say in the back, but I will. We don't want you here. So go home. Like,
that's why he should have lost, man.
Yeah. Like, yeah. So, man, this was an amazing match. I mean, I can't even. I'm not. I shouldn't even call it a match because it was a legitimate fight.
Yeah.
The only wrestling moves I saw was a German suplex. I think everything else was pretty much like a shoot, like not a shoot fight, but they were making it seem like a legit shoot in the ring, even though it possibly could have all been. I don't want to say scripted because none of this seems scripted at all. This just seemed like a legit fight between two men that absolutely hate each other.
Now that was the best part of it. The fact that I didn't
Yeah.
know made it the best. Made it better than I even could imagine. You know, so very well done.
I want to bring up the spot that that lava. I know you're probably not gonna like it, but CM Punk.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I screamed.
CM Punk hit 2 shoulder tackles. He hit a spin out powerbomb. He raised his hand. And I legitimately thought he was going to hit a 5-knuckle shuffle. The man was about to hit the 5 moves of doom.
I was about to freak out. I'm like, we were just talking about Cena just popping up at AEW one day, and I was like, I promise, if he does that move and I hear John's music come out, I'm never watching this damn company again. I promise.
Dude, I posted that video on TikTok, and man, I admit I kind of teased everybody a little bit. I put a little picture of John right here on top of him. In his little Doctor of Thugonomics, CM Punk doing 2 shoulder tackles and all of that. And then I wrote Cena to AEW confirmed with the laughing but crying face emoji.
That's ridiculous.
1,127 likes, 54 comments, 13,900 views. This video blew up, and everybody in the comments is like, what the hell are you on? John Cena would never come here, blah, 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 blah. What the heck is AEW come to? Because now all of a sudden they want Cena now. Like, why? Like, bro, I'm not saying that Cena's going to AEW. It's just a little bit of fun. CM Punk he almost hit a 5-knuckle shuffle. Like, guys, you don't need to take it that seriously. Like, and then somebody said, like, oh yeah, he legitimately can't go to AEW because Vince apparently owns the name John Cena and he would never allow him to go there. I know they wouldn't allow him to go there. But the thing is, Cena's his own man. If he wanted to show up there, he could. He's not.
I mean,
John Cena's his legit name. Like,
he can't go wherever he wants. He really can't just walk in there and say, hey, but it's just like, that would be a huge thing.
Vince McMahon does not own John Cena. He's his own man at the end of the day. But I wasn't trying to say, oh yeah, well, John Cena's in AEW now. No, I know he's not. I was just having a little bit of fun, and everybody took offense to it. Hey, but then again, it's the wrestling community. Everybody takes offense to something. At the end of it all, Punk and Kingston killed it. And so let me go over it again. So here we are. I gotta figure out where I left off. So Kingston hits a superplex, and Eddie Kingston, CM Punk chants are roaring throughout the arena at this point. They both charge at each other, and they rain down right hands back and forth. Kingston with a big boot, Enziguri and Kingston gestures for the GTS. Punk hits a GTS, and Kingston falls into the ropes. Kingston misses a back fist. Punk hits an elbow. Punk hits elbow strikes. Knee hits a high knee, and Punk hits a GTS cover for the 1-2-3. At the end of the day, this was a great match, and man, the dynamic between these two worked so well that I hope that this is not the end. We need to see another match. We need to. I hope we do get it.
I really hope so.
Now, Minneapolis street fight. Inner Circle.
I was not into this, I'm gonna lie.
Me neither. Inner Circle Men of the Year and American Top Team. This was fun while it lasted, but I have to admit, this was not the right conclusion I wanted in this feud. I knew Inner Circle was gonna win. I'm not talking about that. But man, I was really keeping an eye on the UFC guys and Dos Santos and Arlovsky, and I'm gonna tell you right now, even though these guys are legitimate athletes and they can knock both of us out any day of the fucking week, telling them that they are green in the ring is probably as generous as I could possibly give them for a compliment in the ring. These guys did not know what they were doing.
That's why I don't like when UFC fighters come to WWE, because they go in there and try to do UFC stuff, and they're like, "This is not real, sir. You look stupid." That's why I got mad when Cain Velasquez showed up, and I think when Tyson Fury showed up for like that one time, even though he's not UFC, but you understand.
Yeah.
I don't like when they do it. I don't care what company it is. I hate when actual martial arts fighters come to fake wrestling and try to do their real stuff, and it looks weird, you know. But,
calling them green is actually a compliment, but it's probably one of the worst compliments that you can give, because when somebody's green in the ring, they need work, and these guys need work. And the thing is, man, they're legit athletes, and you know that they're legit athletes, but they were trying to make sure that nobody gets hurt in this match. They're legitimately trying to make sure that whatever they did in that match, that nobody was legitimately going to get hurt. And yes, that's the right main aspect that you want. Nobody wants you to actually go in there and hurt these guys, and I'm not saying that. But when you're legitimately just doing these moves in a way like, oh yeah, like I'm legitimately just gonna put you down softly in a power bomb, or put you down softly in a power slam spot. It just seems very unnatural, and I don't know. What were your thoughts on those two in the ring? Because Dos Santos and Arlovsky did not look right to me.
It definitely looked weird. It definitely looked like there was something that they a lot of things they had to work on, but it just looked like a a novelty match, you know, just like it wasn't supposed to be there, but they had to do it just because it was on the card, you know.
Yeah. Man. To go over what happened at the end of this match, and the thing is, here's the thing. The only guy that actually did, well, three guys that did their job well on the American Top Team side of the thing were Dan Lambert. Dan Lambert did his job perfectly. He just was in there to just say, he was just going to be there to act like a fool and get his ass kicked by Chris Jericho. He did fine.
Yeah.
And then Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky, they're amazing athletes, so they were fun there too. It was really the two USC guys I was really looking forward to see. And I wouldn't say they shit the bed, but man, they were not in the right frame of mind for this. It just showed that they're not ready for a spotlight like this, and I hope that they can continue because I like these two. I just wish they never really got in the ring. Dos Santos knocks Jericho off the second rope when he was trying to do a lion salt to Dan Lambert. Lambert pins Jericho for a 2 count. Lambert goes for the walls of Jericho, but Jericho hits him with a kendo stick. He hits Dos Santos with a super kick, not a super kick, kendo stick. And then back to Lambert. Jericho gets a stapler off. And like I said, this was just a fun kind of thing. He got a stapler and he stapled he stapled him in the balls. Everybody overreacted. It was just absolutely fun right there. Jericho looks up and he hits a frog splash, Eddie Guerrero style, and covers Lambert for the 1-2-3. A lot of stuff was happening with Eddie Guerrero tonight. Did you know that? Did you know what it was for?
Yeah, I was hoping that they acknowledged that, and I'm really happy that they did. Really happy.
They acknowledged it in the Lucha Brothers entrance. They acknowledged it here with Jericho during the frog splash, and I have to admit, Jericho, he did not look bad doing that frog splash. He actually did a pretty good one. But I'm glad they at least acknowledged Eddie Guerrero here. So.
No, it was very well done. I like the acknowledgement to that. I really do.
And if you guys don't know, I mean, I'm pretty sure everybody here does, but yesterday was the 16-year anniversary of his passing. If you're on TikTok, you pretty much saw almost everybody post something about it. Man, 16 years. That's why they did it, and man, I'm just really glad that they called attention to it. So it's always great that they do something like that. So I was very proud of everybody involved to do that in a way that was very special. But at the end of the day, Lev, and I want to get your thoughts on this. This was just kind of a match to say, hey, it's time to slow the pace down a little bit. And it was just time to save some energy for what's to come later on. That's what I took this as. Just a fun little match to take the energy away for a little bit.
It was a weird one.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, Laugh, I love this. I love this so much. Tony Schiavone is on the stage and he introduced AEW's newest signing. It's not CJ Perry. It's not Wyndham Rotunda. It's not Keith Lee. It's not Mia Yim. It's Jay Lethal.
That was freaking awesome, right?
Jay Lethal says he's here because he found the forbidden door. And now he's all elite.
I'm really happy to see that. I thought,
Yes.
wait, does that mean he's not going to be in that whole final battle thing at Ring of Honor?
The final battle thing already. The final battle thing. Yes.
Yeah.
Probably not. I mean,
Huh.
he's signed with the company now, so probably not. A lot of so what happened here? There's an open challenge for the TNT title that was happening on this Wednesday's Dynamite, and he said, "You know what? Now that I'm here, why don't I answer it, right?" And he says, "I want a match for the TNT title. I would say tonight, but Sammy went through an entire hard-fought match. So how about this Wednesday on Dynamite?" Sammy comes out from the back for a face-off, and Sammy says, "You're on." So we're gonna get Jay Lethal versus Sammy Guevara for the TNT title.
And just like that, I am watching Dynamite.
So that right there, that just puts you over the edge saying, I am watching this show on Wednesday.
Yes, it's gonna be freaking awesome. Jay Lethal is amazing. I'll be very surprised if he won. That would be nuts, but
Dude, imagine.
that would be
Imagine.
insane. But it's gonna be a really good match.
This is a big signing off, and
Yeah.
I don't think a lot of people realize how big of a signing Jay Lethal is. What are your thoughts on this? Like, this is a big signing for AEW.
I didn't even think that he was gonna like go anywhere else. To that it really surprised me when um he walked out. I did not expect him to go anywhere. If anywhere, he would go back to Impact, you know. But so it was like seeing that was just something that I never would have expected. Like if someone told me that before the show, I would not have believed it until I actually saw it, you know. But
Jay Lethal brings a huge veteran presence to that roster. In a lot of people's minds, he's the greatest Ring of Honor superstar of all time. And I really don't think anybody can say anything otherwise. And Laf, I'm telling you right now, this plants seeds for other Ring of Honor superstars to come in.
yeah, it's like they see him go, so they're like, "Oh, it must be cool over here."
Right. That's exactly what I have here in my notes. I'm like, okay, so if Jay Lethal trusts Tony enough to handle his career, this should be an indication to say, all right, guys, it's all right. This company is pretty legit. You can come over here as well. And now that Lethal is into the fold here in AEW, I got technically three guys, but two acquisitions I would like to see more from Ring of Honor to come here to AEW, and I want to see if they line up. Who do you want from Ring of Honor if you had to pick two others to come on in? If you know the Ring of Honor roster that well enough.
I don't know that many people that are on the current Ring of Honor roster to like even. I don't. I'll have to check their roster. I really have no idea who's even over there at the moment.
Okay.
Like, I'm trying to think, but I really have no idea who's over there.
I'll name my two, and you can see if you know one, or if you don't, you can look them up at some point later on. The Briscoe brothers,
I know of them, yeah.
you know of them, and Danhausen.
I don't know what that is.
You don't know who that is. He's fantastic. You know what? I wanna here. Danhausen right here. I'm gonna bring up a picture of him because I'm telling you right now, I think a match between this guy and Darby would absolutely kill it. So I'm gonna bring this in, guys. I'm pretty sure you know who Danhausen is, but if you don't, you're gonna see a picture of him really soon, and I'm gonna put the Briscoe brothers up here as well, so that way you guys can see them in their truest form. I'm telling you right now, though, guys, the Briscoes are they're a pretty rough and tough kind of team. So if you guys if you guys haven't seen them, if they ever actually do come in, you guys are going to be in a real good treat. Let me get this one for you guys. There's that one. And this one right here. This is Danhausen.
Okay.
And I have to tell you right now, he's legitimate. I want to say he's like a carbon copy of Darby Allin, but man, this guy can not only brawl, but he's a great high flyer as well. So, man, if you want to look him up, I completely recommend that you do that. And man, I think you know of the Briscoe brothers, but this is who they are. They're multi-time Ring of Honor Tag Team Champions, and I think them versus like I was gonna say the Usos, even though that is a dream match that people would want to see. Him versus the Young Bucks, them versus the Lucha Brothers, FTR. FTR has been wanting the Briscoe brothers to come here for a while now. They've been wanting a match with them for years. If those two signed with AEW along with Jay Lethal, that's it. I don't need anybody else. I don't need anybody else from Ring of Honor. As long as I get those two acquisitions, I'm set. So if you ever want to take a look at him, I definitely recommend you do. And we'll see what happens going forward. I think Jay Lethal in AEW is going to be deadly. Or you know what? No, I'll use the pun. Well, if it's going to be lethal, it's going to be lethal. Boo, boo, I know. Boo. But hey, it's a great signing, and I can't wait to see what he does. I want to see a lethal injection to Sammy Guevara on Wednesday night.
That's gonna be great.
Lethal injection. 1, 2, kick out. Oh no!
That's gonna be nice.
Imagine what's gonna happen. I can't wait for that TNT title match. But Loft, it's time to talk about the main event.
Woo!
Kenny Omega defends the AEW World Championship in the main event against Hangman Adam Page. Loft, this is a result of a 1-year long-term booking storyline. 1 year to the very event.
Yes.
Now, this was every bit of awesome as a main event that it could possibly be to crown a new champion when it was the right time and the right moment to do so. And last night was the perfect time to do it. It was the perfect time, it was the perfect opponent, it was the perfect everything to crown a new champion.
Yes.
Hangman Adam Page and Kenny Omega. We all know we're tag team partners. Early on in AEW, they were the second ever AEW tag team champions. And they held those titles for 228 days. They had one of the best tag team matches of all time at AEW Revolution 2020, which it did go a little over 30 minutes. A 30-minute tag team classic between Hangman Adam Page and Kenny Omega taking on the Young Bucks for those tag team titles. They're legitimately family. They know each other so well, and Hangman Adam Page returned to us 6 weeks away when he had to go be with his wife, who recently had a baby, and he returned to us in the Casino Battle Royal ladder match as the Joker to get the opportunity to become, well, to go up against Kenny at Full Gear. And Omega, at this time, he was clocking in on a 346-day reign as champion, Loft. 346 days. So he held it for over a year. He's held this championship on his back for over a year. And it was just the right time, the right place to crown a new champion, man. And it happened. It happened.
It was great. I haven't been in my season for an AEW match in a long time, so that was really good.
I want to go over to the part where Aubrey Edwards came in, because Aubrey came in and she was not the official that started this match. All right, so Omega pulls the referee in front of a buckshot lariat, and Callis gets the belt and tries to hit Paige. Paige catches him and hits him with a right hand. Paige ducks under a belt shot and hits the Deadeye. And Aubrey Edwards runs down to the ring, covers for a 1-2 and a kick out. Paige picks up the belt and throws it to the outside. Omega with shots to the midsection, and Paige with forearm attacks, forearm attacks and other strikes back and forth. Paige with a big boot, a high boot, and Omega with some right hands, a V trigger, another V trigger, and Paige catches a third V trigger and hits him with the right hand. Omega hits another V trigger, so there were a lot of V triggers here, guys, so bear with us. Paige with a rolling elbow strike. Both men collapse into each other. Omega with short kicks to the head, and Paige gets in his face for more kicks. He wanted more of it. He's like, come on, give me some more. Then a big lariat happens, and both men are down. The Young Bucks, they're down to the ring at this point. Wow. And this right here, at this point, I thought we were going to see some kind of fuck finish. What were your thoughts on when the Young Bucks came down here? I know you probably didn't like it, but what were your thoughts on it?
I was hoping for the best, expecting the worst, but hoping for the best, because I didn't know where that was gonna go.
Yeah.
But everything was fine.
Everything ultimately did come up fine. So Omega with a backdrop driver, and then Paige hits one of his own. Paige goes for the buckshot on Omega, but Omega hits a V trigger. Paige hits the one-winged angel on Kenny Omega, which was phenomenal. And Waf, I'm telling you right now, nobody in AEW history has kicked out of the one-winged angel. Mm-hmm. Nobody. Mm-hmm. Of course it had to be. Of course it had to be Kenny Omega to kick out of his own finisher, to be the first one to kick out of it in AEW history. Yeah. Of course. Of course it had to be that way. But man, it was a great spot. So I'm not even like that. That's a little bit of just like a nitpicking. Like, that's fine to me. So he covers, Omega kicks out at the count of 2. Nick distracts Paige. So Nick Jackson is trying to distract Paige, but Paige hits a buckshot to the back of Omega's head. Matt Jackson was on the other side of the ring waiting for him, because he was going for another buckshot lariat to the front side of Omega. Matt nods. He does a subtle head nod to to Omega, pretty much giving him the approval to hit another buckshot lariat. And Page did hit another buckshot lariat to Omega for the 1, 2, 3. We're gonna talk about that. We're gonna talk about that head nod in just a little bit because that's huge.
Yeah.
And I don't know how insane, like, people are saying that it's not that big of a deal. That's a big deal because something's happening.
Yeah.
But after the match, he lifts the AEW World Championship up high, and the commentary recaps the match. "You deserve a chance" are roaring through that arena. I mean, it was loud. And the Dark Order came out to celebrate with Page. A big group hug, and the Dark Order lift Page up on their shoulders as Full Gear goes off the air. I told you guys at the predictions, it's very hard to trust somebody that we don't know just to book something and book something correctly.
Yeah.
Trust me, we've been watching WWE.
Yeah.
But somebody said it in our comments in the last video off. Tony Khan knew that if he did not book Hangman to win this match, he knew that we were going to get all upset and pissed off.
Yeah.
So, but it just led up to the perfect moment. You wouldn't have Hangman win the ladder match to ultimately lose the match at Full Gear.
Yeah.
When he was away for 6 weeks. Now, I admit, he had to be away for 6 weeks, obviously, because, listen, having your first kid is a big deal. So Tony Khan gave him that month and a half off to really be with his family, and there you go. Now he has I don't know the gender of the baby. I believe it's a girl. If I'm wrong, somebody's gonna tell me in the comments, but he has a beautiful baby now that he has to take care of, and he needed to be with his family at that time. And now he's the AEW World Champion.
Yeah.
The Cowboy gets to ride off into the sunset loft. And I know it's a little bit of a cheesy kind of thing, but he gets to ride into the sunset as the new world champion.
It's a beautiful thing.
And this is every bit of exciting because this is what long-term booking can do.
Yeah.
And it was a year, man. A year to the very event. These two were fighting for a shot at the world title last year. Now they're fighting for it. Just an awesome main event.
Everything in it is.
Now I want to talk about that head nod. Because like I said earlier, that head nod is huge. So what does that head nod mean to you? Personally, where do you think that this could go? Or you just don't know and you just want to see what happens? Are you just invested in it now?
I have no idea. I just want to watch and see. I really have absolutely no idea.
Because I got some ideas, but I want to. If you want, I can lay them down and you can see what I think.
Why not?
So now, let me actually scroll to it again because, yeah, there we go. Oh wait, no, where the heck is it? Did it get lost? No, it's right here. If he, I think this could possibly lead to Kenny Omega leaving for a bit, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because Kenny Omega, as we all know, is he's he's been wrestling with some nagging injuries. So Omega may I don't think he's going to be in the elite for much longer. I don't. If he ultimately does get kicked out of the elite, first of all, we need to know why. We need a reason. And I don't think that they would just say, "Oh yeah, well you're just kicked out of the elite just because. Go home now."
Yeah.
They'd give a reason why. But what I'm really looking forward to is not just seeing how they write Kenny Omega off. I want to see what happens when they reintroduce everybody. When Kenny Omega is ready to come back. When Kenny Omega is ready to come back, and when Hangman has his world championship run for a little bit at this point. If he's back with the Young Bucks, if he's back with Adam Cole, if he's back in the elite, what is Kenny Omega going to think about all of this? And there was a pop-up power bomb in some aspects of matches tonight. Like Kevin Owens possibly leaving and joining them very soon is going to be a very interesting situation on where they bring him into this, where they bring Kenny Omega. Maybe Kenny Omega brings Kevin with him to say, "Hey, what the fuck happened? Why is he with you now?
Yeah.
When you were with me the entire time." But everybody just has to be patient, and I'm willing to be patient. I just want something to happen. I just think it's going to be so amazing when it does.
Whenever it does, I highly doubt that they won't be able to execute it. So all of those theories sound like they can be very, very close to happening. So there's a lot of stuff that's brewing at the moment with this. Only one to really pop out, but
yeah,
we gotta wait and see.
Final thing before we get the hell out of here, because I know it's almost been 2 hours. Usually there's a big debut, and especially in your case, when you start watching AEW pay-per-views, usually there's been a big debut and signing at some point during the show. So something happens. In September, at All Out, we have Bryan, Danielson, and Adam Cole come in, right? 2 amazing, huge signings. At Full Gear, it did not look like we were going to be able to get anything. It wasn't Wyndham Rotunda. It was Jay Lethal. And that right there, that's a great signing. But we thought Wyndham could possibly come in at All Out. That didn't happen. We thought Wyndham could possibly come in at Full Gear, because Full Gear would be the real shot for him, because that's pretty much when his 90-day came off. That didn't happen. I still fully believe that we will get Wyndham at some point, but what are your thoughts on him? Did you expect him at Full Gear? And I know you want him to go to Impact, but if it does happen for AEW, where would you like to see it happen?
The next pay-per-view is Revolution, isn't it?
In February, yes.
Yeah. They have until then to do it, because I feel like that's a substantial amount of time from now in the middle of November. I think you have a lot of time to fix that, or even start the conversation if the conversation has never been had.
Yes.
But it's just I don't know how invested I want to get into it, because I don't want him there. I don't.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whenever they do it, it's probably going to be at Revolution, if that is what happens, because that's just the way they set up new debuts and stuff like that. But I don't know how I'm not sure how they would actually do it because I haven't really put that much thought into it. I've been just trying to keep myself as like I'm
You're not trying
keep
to get your
myself.
hopes up.
Yeah. No, I don't want him to go. I don't want him to fall into the AEW thing just because I feel like there's so many people there already. And
Yeah.
as big as a star he is, he can really be a huge part of bringing Impact back to the way it was during its prime. So I feel like that is much more valuable than him just jumping in with all the other sharks in AEW.
Yeah. Remember when the Dark Order were having a little bit of issues with each other?
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was the perfect time to do it. I thought we were going to get that. I thought
That made sense.
I thought Anna Jay was going to be the one to say, hey, guys, listen, you guys obviously can't coexist with each other. I said coexist, but just bear with me. You guys obviously can't get your act together right now because we all know the real leader here, Brody Lee, has been gone. And it was such a tough transition for everybody, and I get that. But I think I have somebody here that cannot ultimately help all of us out, but he has a very special connection with Mr. Brody Lee. And then she would just say, hey, come on in, and it's Wyndham. And we all know the connection now Wyndham and Brody had with each other.
Yeah.
So that right there, it would have just made perfect sense. Just bring them on in that kind of way, saying, hey, listen, you guys can't get along, but I think I might have found somebody that we can at least get him in here to help us out.
I just had a thought just now. I wanted to ask you about this. It's more so on the Bray thing. I know he's definitely probably like 99% not going back to WWE. But do you remember the Anyone But You Roman storyline they were doing?
Yes.
Don't you think that if all the bad stuff between Wyndham and WWE never happened, do you think that would make a good story for him to just come back and beat Roman, like, and take the title off of him, like out of nowhere, like just no build up, just prior belief off of what that was when it happened, and like you know how every time Roman wins, the next challenger comes out at the end of the show.
Yeah. Honestly, I would not be opposed to that. I really would.
No fiend, just
no
pure.
fiend, no fiend, no nothing. I would not. I still wouldn't be opposed to that. Man, that would actually be pretty cool. Now that I think about it, maybe that whole nobody but anybody but you Roman thing was cool to me. I liked it.
It wasn't executed in the way I feel like it could have been.
Right. It wasn't executed right, but it could have been something. And yeah, that would be awesome. That really would.
You could have really built on that because
yeah,
all Bray was trying to do is make sure Roman didn't win. And now when he came back and he sees that Roman's been champion for what 400 plus days, that would just make him that much more mad to take it from him again, you know?
Right.
But I don't know. I had that thought a few nights ago, and I meant to tell you about that.
No, that would be great. Honestly, Bray, if that ever did happen, I would not be mad one single bit if Bray Wyatt was the one to take the title off for Roman. I wouldn't. Yeah, I wouldn't be mad at all. But yeah, this the whole Wyndham Rotunda figuring out where the heck he's gonna go. And at one moment he was in the crowd for AEW, just sitting there enjoying the show. Now he's producing a movie. Like, we don't know what's happening. We don't know what's happening in the career for Wyndham, but we're here for it, and we're going to be with him no matter where he goes.
Yeah.
In other news, Jonah Rock, he debuted last night for Ring of Honor, not Ring of Honor. Oh God, he debuted for New Japan yesterday.
Oh, New Japan. Oh, okay. I saw a
And
picture. I didn't know what it was.
yeah, so he debuted in New Japan. It wasn't like an actual match. He kind of just came in and attacked somebody. I don't know who he attacked, but he debuted there, so he's gonna do great things over in New Japan, and I can't wait to see what he does. I think Jonah Rock was very underutilized as Bronson Reed in NXT, and he'll be great for that New Japan roster.
Yeah.
Another final thing before we get the hell out of here. I'm telling you guys right now, in my honest opinion, and I can say this because I've been watching this company since day one.
Mm-hmm.
This is the best show they ever produced. In my opinion, since day one to now, this is the best show they ever produced, period.
I'll take your word for it.
The wrestling was absolutely phenomenal. The storyline, the year-long storyline to ultimately get Hangman Adam Page that championship was, I'm telling you, that was the best long-term storytelling storyline that I have ever seen as a professional wrestling fan.
Extremely well.
And I'm telling you right now, this was better than All Out.
I'll take your word for it.
Well, no. Here's the thing: you saw All Out. You saw Full Gear. Which one in your mind was better?
I would say Full Gear too. I think All Out was really just carried on the Daniel Bryan and Adam Cole stuff, you know.
Okay, yeah.
I think there were a lot more matches that I was interested in on this show than I have been like in any AEW broadcast, you know. So this is one of those pay-per-views I was like intrigued in, and I'm I'm having a hard time getting intrigued into AEW. So this was like this is like a big one for me. And they executed everything I wanted. They executed some things that I didn't want, but they were good still. So it just like it was cool, you know. It was cool.
Hey, wow, this is only year number 2.
That's the weird thing about it. Like they have a lot of room to just like improve even from here, and that this is like a really good spot to improve from. Because it's like they're already doing great things at the moment. So
somebody asked me earlier on today, what do I think this company can be in the next 5 years? I can't even fathom what they're going to be like in the next 5 years. I don't even know what this company's going to look like in the next, well, in August for Double or Nothing. Like, I can't look 5 years ahead of this company because we don't know with the roster that they're already assembling, with the free agents that are going to be happening within the next few months, with people that are just going to let their contract expire. And like I said, and I understand Tony Khan can't sign everybody, but Kevin Owens, Cross, Keith Lee, Kyle O'Reilly, and those are just to name a few. If they get signed, I don't
gonna get better.
I don't even know.
It's either gonna get really, really better, or just like it's going to start to get top heavy, which I'm scared of as well. So
Yes, yeah, and a lot of people are getting like that now too.
yeah.
Point is, though, I'm just glad I took a chance in AEW because I've been watching WWE for the past 11, 12 years, and I needed something different. AEW was at something different when it started back in 2019, and I'm just glad I stayed for the ride because if I just said yeah no, I'd be missing out on a lot of great things that are happening in this company. And I'm glad you gave it a chance too.
Yeah.
I know it's not the biggest thing in the world to you, but you at least see the hype. You at least see the hype now. At least I hope.
Yeah, I understand. I've tried to give it the same feeling I did when I first watched TNA for the first time when I was like
Yep.
9, and that small 2 to 3 time period when that show was better than Raw and SmackDown and all that. I think I came into AEW expecting that same feeling, and when I didn't get that feeling, I was like, ugh, you know.
Yeah.
I'm still kind of in that mode now, but it I remember when it first came out, I was more just like opposed to it. I'm not opposed to it anymore. Now I'm just trying my hardest to learn more about it and see how far I can get because I can't ignore good wrestling as much as I want to, as much as my brain is like, oh, this is weird. This is different. I can't ignore good wrestling as much as I try. I
Yeah.
can't. So they're
And
doing my best right now.
and like I was saying earlier, my man, it's not even about the free agents that are coming up. The Forbidden Door is here, and I want to get your thoughts on just the Forbidden Door concept. What is your thoughts on that with working with other promotions to not only help the company in AEW, but to ultimately, if the right partnership is there, it can help the other promotion too. What are your just full thoughts on the Forbidden Door concept?
I want WWE to be a part of it. That's it. I know that's one of the most.
It's such a long shot, but I would love it too.
That's all I want. If we get one pay-per-view of just the top AEW stars versus the top WWE stars, I don't think people realize how big that show can be.
Yeah.
Like if you take away a Survivor Series or even put that in the place of Survivor Series to have, not forgetting like Raw and SmackDown, just banding Raw and SmackDown together to go against the evil AEW or something like that. You can build that to where you have matches like it. I thought about like Roman going against Bryan Danielson again, but it's like a different.
But that different aspect, yeah, because AEW, WWE.
Yeah, it's like he has a different motive now, you know. He has a different wrestling style now because he doesn't wrestle the way WWE wants him to wrestle. He wrestles the way he started like in the indies and stuff like that. So it opens the door for a lot of dream matches that I think you can really get people to sit down. It's like sit down and watch it because I AEW's fan base is huge and WWE's fan base is huge. So you combine those two together and you have like that Super Bowl feel in the crowd of just like AEW on this side and WWE on this side. That's just like the energy in that arena before the show even starts would be just like anything. It will be in my eyes. I think it could be bigger than a WrestleMania.
Tony Khan has been thinking about trying to get a stadium for a very, very big event.
Yeah, like,
but the only
gonna do it.
Yeah, the only way that I would possibly see ever that WWE and AEW would work together is if Vince is out of power and it's Triple H.
Yeah.
Because Triple H knows professional wrestling. He wanted professional wrestling for NXT. So I don't know. I think Triple H would be the only guy to make it happen.
Nick Khan, he can't intercept that, right?
Intercept what?
Like if Triple H and Tony Khan decide that they want to do
Oh
that.
no, he only handles the financial things.
Oh, well,
he can't be the chairman of the board. He only handles the finances and all that.
Oh, well, great.
Which is why we get something every 6 months saying, "Oh yeah, we're releasing these guys due to budget cuts." That's all Nick Khan.
You know what scares me? I feel like once Vince does retire, Triple H won't be next in line anymore. I feel like John Laurinaitis is next up. I feel like he's the next
You're
one.
not the only one that fears that.
Yeah, I feel like if we think it's bad now, oh God.
Yeah, you're not the only one that fears that, my man. No, I am too. They are ready. I mean, they were already punishing Triple H for as long as they were when they were bringing the superstars they did groom to the main roster and ultimately just burying them. I mean, look what they did with Karrion Kross and Keith Lee.
Mm-hmm.
But now they're legitimately erasing everything that that Triple H ever tried to create in NXT. They succeeded in their mission to do that. NXT is nothing like it used to be. And they legitimately destroyed the man so much that now Triple H is still you know the heart issue that he had a couple of weeks ago. So I mean, obviously that's not the exact cause of why it happened, but listen, he obviously can't be feeling good knowing that the entire legacy that he was building for NXT and all the superstars that have come and gone from there is just being ripped away from him.
Yeah.
So, like I said earlier, with that being the case of the Forbidden Door of ever possibly being a WWE AEW thing, it just has to solely go through Triple H because Triple H knows what everybody wants. He knows that everybody wants professional wrestling, but just a goddamn father-in-law standing in the way.
Pretty much.
And listen, I'm not on the payroll, but I know Tony would at least come to at least talk to Triple H to see something go down. I don't think Triple H has anything against Tony. I really don't. Yeah. It's just another wrestling promotion that is trying to create competition, and competition is usually supposed to be a good thing. But now with AEW, as so hot as they are, it makes WWE look inferior, and everybody thinks that.
Yeah, it's the thing. I would think if they're trying to show how much better they are, they would be more inclined to do something like that. Like our superstars are better, they would be more inclined to just go for it. But I think that comes with a lot of other stuff.
WWE or AEW? Because AEW wants the competition. They want to work with other promotions.
I would think that Vince would want to try more of just like trying to compete against them head on, because obviously the shows and who's going to watch the shows more, that's not working. So the next best thing, let's just have one big 3-hour pay-per-view of every one of our top guys and your top guys, and just have like a whole big score system, and don't predetermine any of the matches. Just let them go out there and go. And I know Vince probably doesn't even like that style of wrestling, because that like that unscripted part, that's really a risk. And I feel like certain superstars would be fine. Like the superstars that came from indie backgrounds and WWE would be fine, but the wrestlers that came up strictly on the sports entertainment aspect of it,
Right.
they get in there with some of those guys like Eddie Kingston who will actually hurt you. You know, it's just like there's levels to it, and even though I still have WWE at the top, it's just like slowly they're just digging themselves in that hole. With every bad Raw, they're just getting worse, and you know we got more bad Raws to come. So it's just like
Nobody can ignore what AEW is doing right now. If you do, you're just being a hater and you just don't know what is really going on and what everybody's really trying to have you grasp here. AEW is on the rise, and if you're not there for it, you're just gonna be left in the dust. And I'm telling you right now, it's not going to stop. This company is going to continue to get better and better, and you're not going to be able to get on the train once it stops at your station. This company continues to get better. It's not going to stop, and it only will get better from here.
mm-hmm.
And a lot of people are saying that this is just going to end up like TNA, where it's gonna look great now or look great within the next 5 years, but then people are gonna get bored of it, and then it's just gonna look like the TNA that we have, the Impact that we have now, where it's not really gonna have a TV deal. We're gonna have it on AXS TV, which is not provided by everybody, and it's not going to last as long as everybody thinks it is. I can't say that for right now, and I can't really say that that's going to happen because we're so young in this.
Yeah.
How can anybody say that they're going to be exactly like Impact right now? How?
And even if you can say that, TNA started around 2005, I believe. The collapse didn't start until 2014, so that's a long run.
Yeah,
that's a really long run. So even if you put AEW in that TNA, like AEW, I mean, even if you put AEW in that whole timeline of TNA slowly declining, that's a long period of time, you know, and that period of time could just be them getting better and better and better. The only thing that stopped TNA was the fact that they were focused too much on what WWE was doing.
Right.
They were way too focused on that, and that's what scares me about AEW sometimes, because I feel like they do that at times. They focus way too much on what other people are doing when they have a great system going on themselves. So they need to just focus on them, and they'll be fine.
On the infancy days, dude, it was a lot worse. This right now is pretty much at the bare minimum of what they're trying to think of for WWE. They don't really care. They are booking the way that they need to book, and they are booking it to perfection right now. WWE and AEW back then, like in the year 2019 when it first started, it was a lot worse than what they are doing right now for them.
Yeah.
I completely understand where you're coming from, and I understand where everybody else is coming from too, that WWE and AEW, they just continue to do shot after shot after shot. But right now, AEW is not really focused on that right now. They're focused on professional wrestling. And it showed by the show tonight. Well, last night.
Yeah.
But we'll see, man. This was an amazing show. I can't wait to see what happens over the next few months heading into Revolution. I want to get into what happened. Here, let me look up something real quick. So Revolution 2020. Revolution 2021 happened in March this year. But it's going to happen in February for 2022. In 2021, we had these matches happen. So we had the Young Bucks taking on the Inner Circle for the tag team titles. Phoenix defeating, last eliminating Jungle Boy in a casino tag team battle royal for a future shot at the tag team titles. Shida defeated Riho Mizunami for the women's title. Kip Sabian and Miro, so that was when Miro was teaming with Kip a little bit, defeating the Best Friends. Hangman Adam and Page defeated Jeff Hardy in the big money match. Scorpio Sky defeated Cody Rhodes, Lance Archer, Ethan Page, Max Caster, and Pentagon El Zero Miedo in the face of the Revolution ladder match. So, as y'all know, Ethan Page was the Joker in the face of the Revolution ladder match for the future AEW title shot. I want to get your thoughts on this. Imagine if Bray Wyatt was the Joker in that. I mean, that could be something. So we're probably going to get another face of the Revolution ladder match for Revolution. Darby Allin and Sting took on Team Taz in a street fight. That was a great match. And then we had Kenny Omega take on Jon Moxley. And, that was the exploding barbed wire death match, which was an amazing match. But the finish was kind of a little bit of a meh. And everybody talks about that finish and how it kind of shit the bed. But that was Revolution last year. I can't imagine what Revolution is going to look like this year. And we got until February to figure it out, man. It's going to be a great time to be an AEW fan, and I can't wait to see what happens from here on out.
1 second.
Yep. We're about to end it soon, so don't worry. What the hell is Shotzi doing? That's it.
My fault.
No problem. I'm just saying that we got that at Revolution last year. I mean, there's no telling what they can do this year, and it's going to be a great time to be a fan of AEW when it comes down to it.
It really should be. I'm much more excited than I was before this pay-per-view. So
I want to thank you, man, for coming on in a little bit after the intro to talk with me about AEW Full Gear.
nope.
It was a fun show, and man, we're gonna be here again tomorrow, so we'll see what happens on that show.
Oh yeah. God.
I don't even know what's happening on that show. I don't think they even announced anything.
Oh, boo.
So we'll see what happens. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really don't know if anybody's here or not, but thank you if you are. And we'll see you guys tomorrow for another episode of AEW. AEW is going to be on Wednesday. See you in another episode of the podcast tomorrow for Monday Night Raw. I will be getting a sneak preview of the not only the background, but the new intro as well. So, wow, if you got that track all set and ready to go, we might be able to sync it with the
Cool.
intro at some point.
Cool.
But yeah, my man, thank you so much for coming on by. We'll see you guys tomorrow for Monday Night Raw, and we'll see if it's a shit show or not. We'll try.
Can't wait.
Peace out. Love y'all, and have a good night.
Yep.